Hey guys, welcome back to the Next Rank YouTube channel. It's been a while, but Johnny and Jack are back, and we have to apologize for not making a video for a bit. Jack was busy with the major. Congrats on second place, by the way. That's a pretty solid result. You're trending in the right direction, coming up to the most important events this season. But also, yeah, you were sick, so yeah, Jack's you're better now. But you're super sick, so we couldn't record for a bit.
Super sick, yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
really,
it sounded pretty bad. I mean, what was up? What happened to you?
I had like a chest infection and a massive like fever. So yeah, that's a very. But I was also like throwing up. It was just not good. I was in bed for like a week. So I'm sorry we haven't posted in a little bit, but we are back. We are back.
Yeah, we had to give him a chance to recover. But we want to make a video today to talk about the major. We want to talk about specifically Falcons. We're like looking at some of the replays right now, looking at the stats and thinking what helped them dominate so much? Because they just put up the most dominant performance in a LAN history, the highest game win percentage in LAN history. Funnily enough, KC just had that record in the last event, and now Falcons have beaten us. So 2 consecutive events. So we'd consider the most stacked events of all time. The winning team has had the most dominant event in history. Perfect split. They didn't lose a series, all split in MENA either. Or did they lose a series? No, did they?
They lost actually. They
lost one, right? To Swiss.
I think they lost multiple,
did they lose
but
two
they always do. They always do. Like half the time, Falcons will lose a series because they've subbed a player in because one of the players is like somewhere else. So you know.
No, yeah, you're right.
It's like in the early stage of the tournament, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. But they won every event, so that's the similar thing to what Vitality did in the spring split 2 years ago. Falcons have done it, perfect split. And MENA's no joke. Like some of the teams outside of Twisted Minds and Falcons are very good. But we want to look from TRK's POV. This is game 5 of the match against NRG. This is the semi-final. So NRG, Falcons tied 2 games each right now. Very important game. And we want to look at TRK's POV specifically because his boost stats are kind of ridiculous. We wanted to just see this ourselves. Yeah. He, in this game, just to give you guys some numbers, picked up 148 small boost pads. The next highest is Beast Mode with 122, so he's 26 boost pads more than the next highest. Lowest in this one is actually Rawas, his teammate, with 107. And yeah, not a bad slot there by Daniel. Energy could have used more shooting like that this tournament. They do seem to still have a bit of a problem with that, but not that time. That was a great finish.
Not.
But yeah, total boost in the entire game. For TRK, he picked up 5,197 boost in this game, compared to Kalir's, his teammate, 3,560. So well done, Kalir's, on the efficiency. The TRK is just hoovering up the boost. He's grabbing it from everywhere, and that clearly tells us his small pad pathing is very good.
Yes,
he's actually always bottom of this stats when it comes to having boost. He's very low on how much boost he has, but he picks up the most. So we want to see what's going on here. How does he always seem to have enough momentum to do the plays that he wants to do? Yeah,
I mean, we obviously want to give you guys some kind of pointers in some of the best players in the world right now, definitely the best team in the world right now, in what you guys can take away from this, what you guys can do in your own ranked games based off of these players, based off of this team. And TRK, one of his best factors, I guess, or at least most kind of obvious factors, is that boost kind of usage and that boost, how much boost he picks up. What kind of play style does that bring along, Johnny? I mean, it's just very simple. From what we're watching, so far he has not controlled a single ball, okay? Every time he's going for the ball, he is hitting it as hard as he can.
Bang.
But it's also very important to note that when you guys, go into your own games and try and play like TRK, you're not just hitting the ball into useless positions. Every single time he's hitting the ball hard, it really is into a position that is making the opponents awkward. And it may not be making his teammates, making his teammates be able to get onto the ball instantly to take a shot, but it's at least making his teammates' lives easier in being able to break out of defense, in being able to push the ball down into the other half, and therefore reset for his team. So every single time he gets a hard touch, pay attention to where it's going, and also just pay attention to how many hard hits he's getting, instead of trying to control every single ball. Instead of trying to control every single ball, what can we do to keep our momentum up, to make sure we're just getting in our opponent's faces as fast as possible, because that's what he really is doing right now, Johnny.
Yeah, he just looks like he'll be very easy to play with because you know exactly what he's going to do as your teammate. You know he's going to boom the touch. You know he's going to challenge.
Yeah.
He's not going to fake out his teammates, which a lot of people do in ranked, especially. They don't trust their teammates. They accidentally fake out their teammates. Teammates can't read them, and you guys probably all know what that feels like when you're playing with a player you can't read. It's very frustrating. So TRK looks like he's just a dream player to play with. His teammates will always know what he's going to do.
Absolutely. I actually have done 2 sessions with TRK recently, just before the major, and I was like, this guy. I mean, I've played with this guy for years. You know, when we were on PS4 together, we just like never lost in 2s. We'd queue a lot together, and we'd barely lose. And now I was queuing with him the other day, and I was like, I said I'll go till the loss, right? And then we just didn't lose for about 20 games. it was ridiculous. So I was like, and I was recording some of those games, and I talked to some pros after, and I was like, dude, TRK, and we all agreed, TRK is just the easiest person in the world to play 2s with, because you know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to make great decisions. He's going to hit the ball very, very hard, and he's going to be moving very quickly at all times. And of course, it's very easy to say, oh well, let's just make better decisions. But you can take some of the other things he does, which makes your teammates' life easier. You know, like I said, the hitting the ball into awkward positions from the opponent's point of view. It really does make a world of a difference. If you're the teammate of the person that's doing that, it makes your life so easy. Johnny, we have talked about TRK a lot. We're going to go into the overtime here. We obviously do want to mention, what everyone on this team does efficiently. And there is one play at the end of this game that really highlights that. But in the overtime, we do start to see a couple of the plays that Killers and Rawas are making, which, what did they do that is so effective as a team? If you can kind of give us a couple of those things.
Yeah, so we already saw a goal from Clears earlier. He's just a no-nonsense, just put the ball in the net as fast as possible kind of player. Doesn't overcomplicate things, doesn't play for the artistic goal. Even though he can hit some really mechanical plays. He just puts the ball in the net as efficiently as possible. He did a sidewall pass to himself for the first goal this game. And he put up the highest goals per game. Yeah, TRK just blasts it,
just doesn't care.
Just send it and see what happens. Why not? I mean, it's a great play, clearly. But Clears, he's put up the highest goals per game in an RLCS LAN in history, which is crazy because some of the older RLCS LANs had some very high numbers compared to modern ones in that regard. And let's just boom the ball again because it's been working up until now, so why change it from TRK's perspective? I love this. This is like my favorite way to play. Just blast everything.
It's very easy. I know we're talking about Killers in a restaurant now, but it's very. I want to go back to it because if you're having an off day, it is really easy to go back to a style like this. Where you're not having to play, insanely well mechanically on the ball. Which, by the way, I don't want to say that TRK doesn't. If you look at every single one of his contacts on the ball, he is just so solid through it, and that does take a lot of very, very high quality mechanics to be able to do that. Hits like this consistently, just slap the ball. There's no nonsense really. I mean, this is the first time he's controlled the ball, but he's instantly gonna flick it past one. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's very easy to play like this, which is what I want to get at. It's a nice play style to have. I mean, it's very easy to know what to do next.
You see him, he lulled NRG into a false insecurity with a couple of soft touches there before completely ripping the next one over their heads. I mean, it's great. I think this lack of complication, the unnecessary complication, is the takeaway here. Because it doesn't matter what level of mechanics you're at, you can take this as a theory into your 3s, even into your 2s games. Maybe in 1s it's not advisable because you do want to control the ball in 1s, give a lot more space. But in 2s and 3s you can boom everything and be fine.
TRK's playstyle in 1s, at least from my experience of playing him over the years, and I actually did take this into my own playstyle a couple years back after playing him in a ranked game, and I was like, he actually just shoots the ball. Like, he will just continuously shoot the ball until you have no boost left, and then he'll shoot the ball one more time, but you have no boost left, so you can't get it anymore. That's his entire ones play style, it felt like, at least when I played him a few years ago. He doesn't play as much ones nowadays. But yeah, I mean, if you're Falcons, they are rarely fake challenging, right, Johnny? They are just purely playing the ball on most challenges. They like these pre-jump passes or pre-jump on the end of a pass. They love the fake passes. Yeah. And okay, I mean, we have to go to a different perspective for this one, because if you had to show a play that kind of identifies what a player is good at, in especially in Ruas here, you'd show them this play. Ruas's main strength on the Falcons is just being so good on the goal line, especially in defense, and so good at positions like that where he has to avoid a bump or get a last-second touch to make a save and get his team out of a bad situation. I mean, that save crazy. Was, it looks simple, but he's avoiding an edge or bump pass and rotating his car in such a way that, he can still get the touch after. Not easy to do that.
Yeah, the 1v1 games and series over the history for Ruas are obviously the ones he's most famous for, with the dodging. But again, here, just dodging the car. He's just in a different level when it comes to this, just avoiding the contact. And in the meta right now, where air double bump passes, air double bumps are so popular, so effective, it's more valuable than ever to be able to do this. To have a player who's just impossible. He does get demoed, don't get us wrong, but he doesn't get air dribble bumped anywhere near as much as other players. And of course, what do we finish with? Just TRK full sending it, getting a bump, and then Kalir's coming in, clinical as ever. He might have got a call that this was more open than it really was.
Definitely.
Because this was savable. Right here, it looks like he's being told, open, open, open. So he takes all the power off of this and just kind of paddles it in.
He front flips into it.
So Atomic could have saved this if he just continued accelerating. We did watch it earlier, but he slowed down, didn't have boost. Well, a little bit, but it was savable barely, although albeit difficult.
I mean, naturally, he's also, thinking about a better shot, is Killer's gonna, because Killer slows down from Atomic's perspective, so that's why he stops moving. Atomic breaks here, and that's our reasoning of why he could have saved it if he just carried on going. But of course, Killers has multiple options, and from Atomic's point of view, when you're in a 4-minute overtime, your last man, it's very tough to save, but. We're not speaking about Atomic. We're speaking about Falcons. And Johnny, we actually said before this, before we record this video, we did look at this game, and I said, I really think that this last goal, it's not the nicest of goals, but again, it just highlights what the Falcons are good at, right? It's simple as this. I mean, it's not simple. It's very tough to do at a high level. But Ruas, like we said, he's avoiding a bump from Daniel. He's getting a really nice last-second touch to avoid the pass, and then he plays the ball out. Killers, what's his role on the team? In my opinion, Killers, as a player, I don't know if you agree. I mean, Falcons are probably 3 of the top 10 players in the world right now. But Killers to me is probably their worst player, which on the best team in the world is not
overall,
is not a bad thing. But that being said, recently his kind of ability to just outplay, the ball past opponents continuously is probably the best on their team, I want to say. And then TRK's role again, he's coming in with full speed every time. He's just smashing the ball as hard as he can back to Killers, who's hitting it around players, and then TRK is using his speed that he's constantly picking up to get a demo, and that leaves the net open basically for Killers, who is always going to come in as the last man to finish the play off. Really insane, and that play it just highlights what each of the players' individual abilities are and what they do for the team.
Alright guys, we're going to watch one more game this video as well, and since we have had a little bit of a break after the major, this isn't going to be too soon for Jack, the pain of this one. This is for the grand final. You guys played against Falcons, and this is game 3, so we're again in a tie series situation. We just watched a tie series situation against NRG, 2-2, now it's 1-1, and spoiler alert, again a long overtime. So it's some really important pivotal games in series, and I think those pivotal games are the ones that really show us what teams are about, how they want to play, because once a team establishes momentum or gets an advantage, they loosen up and get a bit more comfortable. When they get pressure put on them, they might get more tense. This is a dead even series once again, so we're on TRK POV, and the boost in this game, very similar to last game, he's just Mr. Small Pads. He gets 151 small pads in this game. Jarius picked up 94, so Jarius needs to get on the small pads, Jack. Although he actually had a great final. He played phenomenally, so clearly he doesn't need them. But yeah, TRK, just crazy amount of boost that he's picking up, and the speed he's able to carry through shots, 50s, clears, just any touch that he gets, it just puts tons of pressure on the opponents while being very easy to play with, like we said last game.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's coming in, we know what he's going to do. He's going to come in with full speed, and he's ready, going to control the ball. I actually never thought of him as that type of player. I mean, I know that he was very fast moving, and I actually didn't realize that's what he does. Definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, he as a whole team, I want you guys to focus on in this game. I want you guys to focus on in this game how close together they play, specifically in offense. Transitioning out of defense, they are quite spread out like this. When they get their opponents in that kind of chokehold, they do play very, very close together. And there's, they're playing for these kind of air dribbles into 50s. They're playing for these air dribble passes, these pre-jump passes. They're very close together, which Johnny is actually slightly different compared to most of the top teams in the world so far this season. Most teams are playing a little further spread out, but yeah, you look here again. It's a slight pre-jump. It's nothing crazy. He's not in the air for a second before Killers passes it. It's a slight pre-jump, and that allows him sometimes to get these types of shots where you're just not back in time. There's no other way to describe it other than that, but you're just not ready in time because the pre-jump, is going to be way quicker than you could ever get up in the first place. So I want you guys to pay attention to the offense. And of course, again, it's just these hard clears from TRK getting in the face of the opponent. He's not really concerned about making too much contact on the ball through these challenges, rather than just being there as a kind of distraction for the opponents.
Yeah. And if people want to take this into their own games at lower level, presumably most of you guys watching, again, by the way. Yeah, just moving the ball around people is just what he does. Just Mr. Outplays. Really up there, just quickly on that. You mentioned it. I think he's up there with the Zens and Pose, the other guys, Jan in his prime. Just getting the ball past people.
It's very different.
And having that in your team is really important. Yeah, I think it is very unique.
Yeah, I don't know how it is, but with Zen, he's going to take the ball in the air, but with Killers, he'll just hit it past you. I don't know how to describe it other than that. Like, he'll just hit it past you. I mean, there was one play in the grand finals that I remember Killers did, and I was like, I've seen him do that play 70 times in this one tournament, and it was just so simple, but he's so good at when the ball is in front of him and there's not much of an angle, there's not much of a bounce. He can pop it up once, still hold his flip, and then use his flip to hit it past the last guy as they're challenging him. Right, and I'll show you what I mean, in free play after. But he's the best in the world, in my opinion, at that. Just one skill, and it's it's a very unique thing to be good at. But he does it so often. He's very good on the ground, Killers. It's one of his best, kind of skills. I'd say Ruas probably controls the ball the most on this team. He's more air dribbly than the other guys, and he's very good at that. But Killers just keeps the ball on the ground, and he'll just flick it past you. It's really annoying, actually.
Yeah, which is a different skill in threes than it is in 1v1. In ones, obviously, you just have to flick it past the one player, but in threes, you're trying to flick it past one player, and then also combine that with a very fast recovery, or combine it with an angle that gives you enough time to get back to the ball before the second challenge comes in. And yeah, he's very good at that, just finding those gaps where you can outplay more than one player, getting 2 for 1, getting a good trade and putting his team in a good spot, which is hard to practice, but the idea is something you guys can take into your own games.
Absolutely.
Trying to get 2 for 1s every time that you're on the ball in threes. If you can get the ball past one opponent and then 50-50 another one, that's a great trade. You've just taken 2 opponents out of the game, and you're maybe out of the game at that point, but your 2 teammates are still in the game. So they're now in a 2v1 briefly, but still. Thinking about 3v3 especially in that term is very good, and 2v2 you can extend it the same way. Don't think about necessarily scoring if you've got 2 players out play. Just get the ball past them, and then the net should be open for your teammate. It's what Clears does all the time. He's very often the finisher in threes for this team, just coming in and applying the finishing touch off of some chaotic play that TRK has created. But yeah, TRK, easy to play with, creates a lot of those chances for Clears to get those opportunities.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game and seeing or thinking what can you guys kind of take away? How can you play like these players? I would say that Rawas's style and his just individual ability is, by the way, it's just a great pass. Like I was just. I thought I've played this game. This has already happened. I'm in this lobby and I thought a shot was coming here. You know what I'm saying? That is like I've been here and I thought a shot was coming on target and it just didn't go on target. So a really nice pass. Killer's probably give him that pass again. He probably scores it. One of the rare misses that he had throughout the entire weekend. But I'm looking at these guys and I would say that Rawas's style and how he is as a player and just knowing these guys over the years. By the way, again, just want to point out how close these guys get to each other on offense. Is this easy to do? Absolutely not. They obviously don't score off this play, but this is kind of their structure when they get the ball under control in offense, when the opponents can't challenge absolutely, straight away or a hard clear isn't coming out. They do get very close together. It's very interesting. It's very, like I said, different right now compared to most teams and players. But Rawas is very, very difficult to play like. If you guys want to play like Rawas, you're going to have to be absolutely perfect mechanically. You're going to have incredible recoveries. You're going to have to play a lot of ones to do that. It's his recoveries for me that makes Rawas, the kind of, the excellence that he has as a player. Killers, he keeps the ball on the ground, I think, a lot. He's very, very good on the ground. He's got very, very good shooting. I would say that, like I said, Rawas is harder to play like because his recoveries are simply just on another level. And then TRK is probably the easiest to play like. All these guys recovering at a crazy level, even TRK, because he's moving so fast. But when you do move quickly and when your style is to rarely control the ball, I mean, this is one of the few times he controls this ball, it is easier to play like that. You know what you have to do every time, and it's going to be very easy to do that consistently. I mean, this is stupid, really. It's crazy to go for these types of plays in an overtime in Grand Final. I mean, we just pre-jump in, passes, everyone was close together. I don't want to pause too much, but look, we're, the furthest player is at the midfield line when the ball is barely over the midfield line. We're all just in the half. You have to have a lot of trust in your teammates. You have to have very, very high skill individually to be able to play like this. Simple as that. Because you can't make mistakes mechanically. That's what it feels like playing this team, is that you get beat individually. You just get beat individually. If they have the ball, they'll get it past you by themselves, and then they'll throw out this pre-jump pass with them all being close together in offense, and then into a perfect shot. That's really what it is playing this team. If you guys kind of want to know what it feels like.
It's hard. I mean, that exact explanation is probably why they got in trouble a bit in other events as well, because it's hard to do that. It's very difficult to execute on that game plan, all close together, reading each other's touches, communicating very well. You need to do all those things to make this work.
Fastest that I've heard out of any pro team. I've boot camped, with them in the same building as me, and obviously they're at LANs. You can hear their comms. They shout at each other. They
use a lot of English, right, as well?
Yeah, Arabic comms have a lot of English, but they shout at each other. I swear to you, they shout. They are so loud and they come so fast. Because if you're faking, whenever they pass the ball, if it's coming from TRK, it's coming at 120 kilometers an hour, right? It's simple as that. It's coming at you so fast. So you need to know quickly that it's gonna be a pass. And if it's coming from anyone else, you might be pre-jumping. And you also might be faking the pass. They might hit off the wall, go up for the ball, and then fake it for you. So if you're doing that, you have to shout at each other to be able to comm that fast. Yeah. It's really intriguing, like listening to their comms, because they comm the quickest out of any pro team that I have personally ever heard. And if you're playing like this, the high line in offense and that style.
Oh, what a pass! Yeah,
it's just stupid. I mean, really,
how did he find the gap here? This is so insane.
I was like, I pushed forward here because
it looks so safe. Yeah,
it looks safe. Like there's no angle to get past anyone here. There's two players. There's no space, and then the ball goes past because it's just a perfect pass, right? Like that's just ridiculous. So
it's just a great pass.
They look for the extra option, and the issue is is that you are constantly worried about the ball just being slammed to your top corner, right? Like that's what you're covering in half of the passes. But then there's a player that's constantly rotating out, stealing your boost, and then rotating back in for a pass. You know, not a lot of teams play like that nowadays, and it's almost, you know, they're doing it at a way higher level than we've ever seen, right? But it's almost how pro teams used to play with the constant passes, you know, looking for an extra player. Whereas that's not as big of a thing anymore, at least this season. But they're doing it at a way higher level, and obviously showing that it can be done very, very effectively.
Oh, Jack, what was you were going to show us a play from Clears that you like?
Yeah, it's very simple, but he's very good at those types of plays, right? So when he has the ball in front of him, there's not much of an angle. He is very good at getting it around players and just scoring off of that, right? And and his decision making on when he does it, how he does it, and when he's like firing that, you know, the flip on that type of mechanic. Really, I saw him do it a lot, and because you're also concerned about him, you know, especially if the ball's bouncing a little bit more into a position where he can just, you know, air duel, because you're so worried about the individual aspect of those types of players, you know, the mechanics they have, the ability they have to take it in the air and go for a reset whenever they want to. You're not covering the lower option or the quicker option instead of the, you know, the more controlled option, which players typically tend to go for nowadays. So he's just very, very good at getting the ball there where it's not, you know, too threatening, and then making it threatening within like half a second. And that's what you have to be worried about. So it's a very weird, you know, very unique and just small thing to be good at, but he does it really, really well. I honestly think it's one of his biggest strengths, if you could call it a strength, with it being such a niche thing, but it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important that, you know, if you guys are going to take anything away from this video, you try to be like Clears. Obviously, it's a big ask. I'm sure a lot of pro players would like to play more like him as well. Absolutely. It's not going to be easy, but you've got to. I always think in Rocket League, even if you're playing 2s or 3s, you can't be a support player in Rocket League. You need to have some kind of outplay that you're good at, and even if you just do the same move every time, that's fine. Just get good at least one way of moving the ball, advancing the ball, getting it past players. If you don't have any outplay that you're confident with, or any way when you get in your 1v1 positions in 2s and 3s, where you think, okay, I can hit this shot pretty well in my ground game or aerial game, wherever it is, you need something, and that's what he takes to the next level, because he's got so many that he's just unbelievably fast with, clinical, no nonsense, balls in your net, balls past your team.
Yeah.
And my team's scoring. And then TRK, pretty simple. You've got to be quick, you've got to be able to hit the ball hard, you've got to just know how to find the angles and find the openings to be a menace with your challenges.
Yeah.
And then Rawas is probably the hardest one, like you said, Jack.
Definitely,
but,
yeah.
If you want to simplify, obviously we can't all become like Rawas in the Matrix, dodging bumps, but just being difficult to get the ball past is something that everybody can get better at. Being always at least forcing somebody to get a tough outplay on you. Don't just be easy to outplay by going for some crazy read.
And yeah, definitely. And how does he do that? It's very simple. He holds his flip for as long as he can. That if you want really one thing in defense to make yourself more like Rawas, you're never gonna, or it's gonna be very tough to become exactly like him. Very, very few players can, but if you want to do, you know, one thing that he does very, very well, if you want to take one thing, it's he holds his flip forever, and that allows him to cover as many of the options that's coming at him as possible, and that also allows him sometimes to get these ridiculous saves where he's getting bumped by an opponent. I mean, the one we saw in this video, he actually didn't have a flip because he had to double jump up to the ball, and he just matrixed around the car using air roll. But a very easy way to get those last second saves, get those last kind of, you know, clutch moments where you're covering everything, is to just simply time. You obviously have to time the challenge and hold the flip as long as possible, because then you can use it to gain momentum, to avoid a bump, to get momentum into the ball, to get a good clear, and to, you know, just cover and have the option to move around in your net once you're already in the air. So yeah, that's the one thing I would recommend But also, you're going to have to be aware of everything that's coming at you. You know, the passes, the shot, and you're going to have to, you know, just cover it all efficiently. Simple as that. You're going to have to play a lot of ones to be able to do that, like Ruas. Killers and TRK's playstyles are... You wouldn't have to play ones to get good at those types of playstyles. Yeah. Whereas with Ruas's, I think you almost have to play ones to get kind of similar playstyle like that. It's very difficult. Ones just brings a little bit more kind of experience with shadowing and defending on your goal line, which is what Ruas is very, very good at. I will say, closing thoughts for me, Johnny, is that these players actually have benefited from playing on high ping. I don't know if you agree, but like I just, whenever you scrim them online, they're a great team, one of the best in the world. And then you scrim them on LAN, because they've had so much practice with playing high ping, they react to stuff quicker because they have to. And they're constantly aggressive because they have to. They can't just sit back and play defensive on high ping. And then once you kind of, you know, you take the training weights off them when they go down to lower ping, it's, you know, it's a whole different type of player, and they're just way better. So maybe practice on high ping. That's honestly, I really think I think these Middle Eastern players are so good at the game, and they have to, you know, be individually skilled and have to outplay opponents, be very quick reactively, because they're on such high ping. I mean, it's a great skill.
Yeah, definitely. At least if you're in Europe playing on East, if you're in US East playing in Europe, it's very doable. So sometimes you're going to get better queue times if you do that late at night. US West, even from Europe, is playable. It's a lot harder, but it is doable. Once you get past 150, it gets a bit ridiculous, but some players...
I don't know. I've seen Khaled pull out some 190 ping US West wins.
I don't know how, but
which is ridiculous, with a defensive playstyle, or kind of defensive playstyle, a little bit different to most Middle Eastern players, I would say, Khaled back in the day. But you know, all jokes aside, I do think it helps them, and maybe you could try it out yourself, but I don't think a lot of people would want to play on high ping. But Johnny, those are some of the characteristics of the Falcons players. Do you have anything else to kind of closing thoughts before we end this one?
I just wanted to tell you guys, if you enjoy this type of video, as always with our content on this channel, let us know in the comments, and we'll make more videos like this if there's a lot of requests. We did look at some of the other RLCS teams earlier in the year, KC, NRG, and we're likely to look at more with Esports World Cup and the Worlds coming up in the coming months, even Last Chance Quals this month in RLCS. So lots of teams to put under the microscope. Hopefully you learned something from this as well, and let us know, report back on which one of the Falcons players has been the easiest. I think we all know what the answer should be, but which one's been the easiest to replicate in your own games?
Absolutely. Guys, as always, check out the course at thenextrank.com. We've spoken about a ton of different skills and traits of players in this video that we do have videos on over on the course at thenextrank.com. Link is in the description. Check out all of our other videos on the YouTube channel. We have tons of videos exactly like this one, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.